Hello everyone, it's a pleasure to be here. My name is Markus Saari and I have with me Mr. Jan Lampikari. We're both from the Finnish Savings Bank group and we were asked to tell you a little bit about DORA, the Digital Operation Resilience Act regulation and its implementation within the Finnish Savings Bank group. We try to bring you, let's say, a practical approach and hopefully even maybe demystify a little bit on the topic of how to actually implement a regulatory requirements within a banking operator like us. Just to introduce myself, I'm the CTO for the Finnish Savings Bank Group. I've been more than 20 years within the ICT industry. I am responsible for the technology, strategy and operational information security within the banking group. I've been here for about a little bit over 6 years, out of those 3 years as the CTO. I have background from both from the customer side and also have some consulting experience. I have a long background in data analytics and cloud implementations, and now, like I said, the CTO for the group. Jan, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, of course. So my name is Jan Lampikari and I work as an information security architect here at Savings Bank Group, and I've been here for now maybe 2 years, something like that. Yeah, and I've been in ICT for 12 years now. Yeah.
Perfect. So let's go. A couple of words about us. I'm just going to run this through pretty quickly. So we are a group of individual banking operators operating in Finland. You can see some of our key figures here. Out of this slide, I especially like to point out the stuff that we are maybe most proud of is our excellent customer experience. We have an NPS score of over 80, 84.2. And of course, on the bottom corner, you will see our mobile banking application, which has 4.4 stars rating. And this actually in focus of this presentation, as Jan will be later on talking about our approach on the DevSecOps within the mobile banking application. This is just to show us we are a banking group which has been part of society for over 200 years. We've operated within Finland starting from 1822, so we are actually the longest retail banking operator within Finland. We have 14 individual savings banks in Finland, and as you can see, our geographical coverage is reasonably good within the entire country. But let's talk about DORA. So what is DORA? So DORA is a European Union regulation. It was issued in 22, came in effect and started 23, and it's actually a binding union level legislation. So the essence and the key of DORA is actually to improve the digital resilience of financial operators. I mean, the word regulation sometimes has a kind of bad tone or bad vibe in the discussions, but we actually feel DORA that it requires us to do the stuff that we've done before, but it actually requires us to do it in better, in more mature manner, and actually document it way better. So actually DORA is just requiring us to step up our game, so to say. The digital resilience, which is in the core of DORA, actually asks us the question of how are we going to build and operate our mission critical solutions in a current, let's say, very unfortunately unpleasant global environment, which is changing every day and all kinds of unexpected things are happening. I quite often say that the resilience has 3 building blocks. It has the security, which obviously we are responsible of. There is ICT continuity, which you can then break down into 3 things: business continuity, service continuity, and operational continuity. And then there is the supply chain, which is of course our subcontractors and our solution providers who operate or build solutions on our behalf. And those 3 building blocks then build the whole thing, which at the end of the day, bank's resilience is built upon. If you Google for, what is DORA or the pillars of DORA, you quite often get these pictures. There is these 5 pillars, and we actually like to build it in a way, in the way that is shown on the screen, that we don't build draw 5 pillars. We have, let's say, 2 pillars which actually lay the fundament or the foundation for DORA. So there's our risk management framework. How do we manage our ICT related risks? And then on top of that, there's the information sharing across the sector. So it's very important that we as a financial entity, we share information with other operators in the field, that we get a common view on what kind of risks and threats there are out there. Then on top of that foundation layer, there are 3 pillars, which are ICT, incident management and reporting. So how do we handle our incidents, which unfortunately happen? There's resilience testing, so we need to rigorously test the resilience of our solutions. And then there is, should we outsource, what we quite a lot do. Then there is, of course, the ICT outsourcing and vendor risk management pillar. And on top of that 5-pillar foundation exists our ICT organization and its leadership and management capabilities. So how did we go forward? So everything starts always that when such a huge regulation lands into the bank, it all starts that, okay, we need to start a project. We started a project which was named the DORA project. Of course, you nominate a project manager for it, and we needed to find a product owner for it who actually owns the deliverable. That was quite clear that our CISO was named as the PO for the project. But what I like to highlight on this slide is that, like I said earlier, DORA regulates most of the stuff that we already do, but it actually requires us to do it in more structured manner, increase our maturity, and document it better. And that's why the product group the DORA regulation was not pinpointed to a certain function within the bank. So we needed to find stakeholders from basically all of the areas of our organization. And that was maybe one of the little small problems, that we are running with a quite small internal resources, and we need to gather all of the people and assign resources from all our people to actually ensure that we cover all aspects and all areas of our organization. Couple of words about our ICT strategy and DORA implications. So we are running, if you think about this classical build versus buy strategy, our strategy is very much a buy strategy. So we would like to utilize, first of all, we want to utilize quite a lot of generic SaaS solutions. Those of you who have followed us, we would know that we are implementing a Dynamics 365 for our CRM solution. We want to buy readily made off-the-shelf solutions and implement them to our cloud tenant. Those are like the 2 fundamentals how we actually want to implement our new business solutions. Then we do custom development, not our own, but we buy it from our vendors, where it actually only when it brings actual significant competitive advantage. And those, for example, I've mentioned here is our mobile client, which you saw, it has actually brought us very significant competitive advantage as it's very well rated within the user base, and then data would be another example. We are running a small ICT team. We don't have our own development resources, data being the outlier here. So there we have built our own developers, but basically everything else we outsource. So that actually means that far majority of our operational ICT work is outsourced to our partners and our vendors. So from the DORA perspective, that meant those 2 things, our buy strategy and our small internal resourcing means that, first of all, in the DORA perspective, we have very high emphasis on our outsourcing management, and we need to implement our development related practices where applicable, because, like I said, we're utilizing quite a lot of readily built solutions. So for those development related practices, we started out our DevSecOps sub-project, and we implemented that in our cloud platform engineering and our mobile development. And in this point, I would like to hand over to Jan to tell you a little bit, or dig a little bit deeper within the DevSecOps project and the mobile development.
Yeah, thank you, Markus.
There you go, Jan.
Thanks. So let's begin with what I think is DevSecOps, because it has lots of explanations, and if you Google DevSecOps, you'll probably get a lot of explanations too. So I tried to write maybe a couple of points what I think is DevSecOps. So first, I think it's about merging development, operations, and security together instead of treating them as individual disciplines. I think it's also about using tools, techniques, and actually culture to integrate security into the software development lifecycle. But also, I think it's about the shift-left philosophy. It's about integrating security as early as possible into the software development lifecycle rather than trying to add a security layer as a separate afterwards. As like, I think Markus also knows that that's not working.
Yep.
Yeah. Right, so let's move on. What we had before DevSecOps? So before we had only high-level security policies stating things such as write safe code or use best practices or don't create vulnerabilities, and as we know, that's not very good. Well, I think our policies are very good, but this is not very practical.
Yep.
Yeah. So the suppliers and outsourced resources, they try their best to follow these policies, but they would have benefited a lot if there was more practical guidelines available. And also, part of the problem is the fact that we use mostly commercial off-the-shelf software, like Markus has just told us. So there has been no need for more detailed practices and processes before. And also, therefore, all the applications that were developed for us or by us did not get the attention they actually required. And that's why DevSecOps. Right. So where did we start actually? So together with Solita, we started to develop a DevSecOps model for Savings Bank. And the model also needed to comply with DORA requirements for security testing. And those of you who know about DORA and security testing, it's quite a vast topic on DORA. So it's not very easy to actually comply with all the testing requirements. And basically our goal was to focus on three things. First was to just create a simple threat modeling template or process that can be used by everyone, and I mean by everyone, like product owners as well, not just our security specialists, but also everyone. Second was to provide tools for the developers, both internal and external. And third was to provide easy-to-read instructions for the developers on how to use the tools and some basic processes to support the use of these tools. And so far, we have successfully piloted a threat modeling process or template. We have implemented both JUST and DUST scanning solutions, JUST for the source code analysis and DUST for scanning runtime vulnerabilities, and also an SBOM solution for listing all software components.
May I Jan, just ask you a small question regarding those templates and processing? Like you said, the key point is to actually that they can be used by everyone.
Yeah.
So what has been the reception from our let's say, less technical users when you have introduced these templates to them?
Actually, they've been pretty happy about the templates, and they think they are actually very easy to use. So I think we have done pretty good on that one. Yeah.
That's great.
So then the case Säästöpankki Mobile, or our mobile banking application. So that was one of the key targets for this project. So what we wanted to do is to help the development team, as they really didn't have much help from the security team before. And we actually piloted this DevSecOps model with this mobile application. And basically the development team has been very positive about the change that this new DevSecOps model has brought, and the increased support from our security team, including me and like Markus. And the development team now has the tools to help track security issues and a process to manage the found vulnerabilities in the application. And also, we as a security team, we gained more visibility to the state of the security in this application, which is also very good. Then what next? Well, I think we should continue active threat modeling and widen the use of threat modeling as much as possible all across the organization. And we should also put the DevSecOps model into a wider use across the organization, because some of the practices in this model might fit projects that do not necessarily even write their own code and create application, because For example, the threat modeling process, it can be used basically everywhere. We should also, I think, implement the tooling across all development projects we have and operations that have the capabilities to use these tools. And we should also further develop the tooling that was implemented together with the DevSecOps model to better support all the development projects and operations.
I think that's a really interesting finding what we actually found within the project, even though it has the word dev. So we started as a dev project for those applications to actually write their own code, but actually found that we can actually expand these tools and methods to any of the other applications as well.
Yeah. So, moving on to lessons learned and key takeaways. I think these might be the 3 most important ones I have written here. So, first, I think what's most important is to demystify everything security related, including DevSecOps, because I think we need to communicate in very simple terms and use examples that are easy to understand, because there's no benefits in confusing people with acronyms and abbreviations. Our product owners, they don't know what's a SAST scan or what is a DAST tool. They don't know about it. We need to simplify everything into the state that they actually understand what are we talking about, because security can be difficult. Also, I think a well-conducted threat modeling can help product owners to deal with security issues more than you might think. And I think our product owners also have surprised that this actually we can find something with these. And also, what's important is that the tools, they are worthless if there's no processes in place telling how to manage the possible findings. Don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's the same like we have told everywhere outside of security as well, that we can buy all the technology in the world and it's still there, but it's worthless if our people don't know how to use them.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you. That's all for my part.
Thank you, Jan, and also we thank you everyone for your interest in this. We hope that you found it interesting, and please drop in comments or questions or contact us later on if you're interested for more details. Thank you.
Thank you.